The town of Hamelin slept beside the slow-moving river Weser, wrapped in the quiet rhythm of medieval life. Bakers rose before dawn, blacksmiths hammered sparks into the morning air, and children's laughter echoed between narrow cobblestone streets. It was not a wealthy town, but it was proud of its sturdy stone church, its bustling market square, and its hard-working people. Then the rats came. At first, it was only a few. A merchant noticed teeth marks in his grain sacks. A farmer found gnawed wood along his barn door. People muttered about poor storage and bad luck. But within weeks, the problem exploded. Rats poured into the town in waves, gray, black, small, large, filling cellars, climbing into cupboards, scurrying across rafters. They devoured everything. Food stores meant to last through winter disappeared in days. Babies cried in their cradles as scratching sounds came from beneath the floorboards. Housewives stood on chairs, shrieking as rats darted across kitchen stones. Shopkeepers tried traps, cats, poison. Nothing worked. For every rat killed, 10 more seemed to appear. The smell came next. Rotting grain, filth, disease. Whispers of plague drifted through the town like smoke. Fear spread faster than the infestation. People stopped visiting neighbors. Church pews grew emptier. Parents kept their children indoors. Finally, the town council gathered in desperation. The mayor's face looked older than it had the month before. They argued for hours, offering rewards, debating extreme measures, blaming one another. But no solution appeared, until the stranger walked through the gates. He arrived at sunset, when the sky was streaked with orange and red. He wore clothing unlike anything the townspeople had seen, bright colors stitched together in bold patterns, as if he had dressed himself from fragments of a rainbow. A long feather curved from his cap. In his hand, he carried a slender wooden pipe. He moved calmly through the square, ignoring the suspicious stares. When he spoke, his voice was smooth. "I hear you have a problem," he said. The mayor, exhausted and humiliated, admitted the truth. The stranger listened without interruption. When the story ended, he made a simple offer. "I can rid you of every rat in Hamelin," he said, "for 1,000 guilders." The council gasped. It was a fortune, but so was the cost of losing their town. The mayor agreed. The stranger nodded once, lifted the pipe to his lips, and began to play. The sound was thin at first, soft, almost delicate. Then it grew. The melody twisted through the air like invisible silk. It was neither happy nor sad. It was something else, something commanding. A rat emerged from beneath a crate, then another from a sewer drain, then dozens. Within minutes, the streets writhed with movement. Rats poured from windows, from cellars, from rooftops. They gathered at the piper's feet as if drawn by gravity itself. He walked slowly toward the river, never stopping the tune. The town followed at a distance, stunned into silence. At the edge of the river Weser, the piper stepped into the shallow water. The rats followed without hesitation. The current deepened. The animals squealed as the water closed over them. Still, the piper played. One by one, thousands of rats vanished beneath the surface. When the last ripple faded, the piper lowered his instrument. The town was free. Cheers erupted, bells rang, neighbors embraced. The nightmare was over. But celebration has a way of changing memory. By morning, the council's gratitude had cooled. The mayor counted the treasury and frowned. 1,000 guilders suddenly felt unreasonable. After all, the stranger had only played a tune. No blood, no battle, no visible effort. When the piper returned for his payment, the mayor placed a small pouch in his hand. Inside was a fraction of what had been promised. The piper's eyes darkened. "This is not what we agreed upon," he said quietly. "You have been paid generously," the mayor replied. "Be satisfied." For a moment, the square fell silent. The piper studied their faces, faces that had begged him for help only a day before. "You will regret this," he said. Some laughed, others turned away. He left without another word. Weeks passed. The town returned to normal. Markets reopened. Children ran freely through the streets again. The piper became a fading memory, an odd traveler in colorful clothes. Until the morning he came back. It was June 26th. The adults were gathered in church, heads bowed in prayer. The streets belonged to the children. The piper stood once more in the square. This time, when he lifted the pipe, the melody was different. It was lighter, playful, sweet as summer wind. It danced through the air like laughter itself. A little girl stopped skipping rope. A boy dropped his wooden sword. Toddlers toddled toward the sound, eyes wide with wonder. The piper began to walk. The children followed. They left their homes, their toys, their half-finished games. Smiling, they trailed behind the man in bright clothes, as if he were leading a parade meant only for them. Out of the town gates they went, across the fields, toward the distant hills. A nursemaid, limping from an injured leg, tried to follow but could not keep up. She later told the town what she had seen. Children moving as if enchanted, faces glowing with joy. When the church bells finished ringing and parents stepped into the sunlight, they noticed something strange. Silence. No laughter, no running feet. Doors stood open, toys lay abandoned in the streets. Panic spread faster than fire. Search parties rushed beyond the gates. They found footprints in the dust, leading toward a mountain pass. There, according to legend, the piper stood before a rocky cliff. As he played, the mountain opened. The children entered. The stone closed behind them, and they were gone. Some say one child returned, blind because he could not see the piper's colorful clothes, therefore could not fully follow. Others claimed a deaf child survived because he never heard the music. But the rest were never seen again. The town of Hamelin marked the date in its records. Years passed, yet no celebration was ever held on that day again. Parents grew old with grief. The empty spaces where children once played became permanent scars.